Hello, my wonderful people, viewers and subscribers. I hope this message gets you in a good state of mind. Not minding what I've been trending today, not minding what the ups and downs about the video I posted. I want you to watch this video and make sure when you are watching this video that I'm going to see now, please take a little break from whatever you're doing and watch the video from beginning to the end. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case have been tabled before Donald J. Trump. In fact, the matter they in table now, and the matter of Biafra recognition is also on the table of Donald J. Trump. I will have been go ahead to talk much, but I will not do that because the video you're about to watch now is over 35 minutes video. So get ready to watch it. It is not my video. I just get the video from I got it from Facebook some couple of minutes ago, and I feel this is what my people need to see, because when I title it now that Nnamdi Kanu have been freed, everybody, it will be like the head have been let loose, but it's not so. Sometimes we use political statement, but we are going to come back after this video you are going to watch. Just watch it finish. I'm going to end the broadcast, but I'm coming back again to read the comments that follows that video. I will read the comment that follows that video, and also comment that followed the video I published this morning about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how he is chilling in his Afaroku Beku Omahia Abia stage. So we are going to come back after this video. So when you watch this video finish, just make sure that you watch the next video that will follow this one. That video that follows this one is the comment that follows the video you are going to watch, and the comment that follows the video I published this morning. We are going to do it one after the other, because our people need to grow up. We are really backward. People said I use fake headlines. People said I do all sort of propaganda. Let me tell you, 98% of what Tinubu using to rule Nigeria today, to the people who even more educated than you, and all of them keep quiet, are all propagandas. It is propaganda they use to designate me and you as terrorists in present-day Nigeria. It is propaganda that they use to sell that narrative that 1966 January 15 coup is an Igbo coup. It's a propaganda. And people believe that up to that day till today. Then when I said, okay, let me just put it this way. Believe it or leave it. There's not any government or whatsoever, even the government of US or anywhere in the country, that will ever succeed without propaganda. So you all need to wake up, grow up. I know most of the people that are commenting that, most of them are not Igbos. Most of them are not even Biafra, but they just want to put confession. But when they are seeing that kind of comment, you as a Biafran, when you see it, debunk it. In fact, tell them that they should shut their mouth up. Wait, sorry, I'm not here to shout to anybody, but I'm just trying to educate us, me and you. No any government thrived without propaganda. If not propaganda we go use to get this Biafra, my brother, I'll be number one to be on top of it. If not propaganda we are going to use to side Dr. Ngozo Rabweze in what she is doing, and to make sure that she maintains and protects the mandate of Simon Ekpa, count me as number one. But if it's a propaganda to then belong on the side of Ogechukwu, then I will say my hands up. So just say it or you leave it. Propaganda is part of government, and there's no any government that's going to thrive without propaganda. You can imagine how many times Bayo Onanuga have come out and tell you that trillions and billions of naira have entered into Nigeria economy through the investors of their numerous traveling. Nobody killed him. Nobody even voted for vote of no confidence on Tinubu. Rather, they passed vote of confidence on Bola Ahmed Tinubu out of all the whole propagandas. When you get to my channel, when you get to me, then I become an scapegoat that you can just write and comment whatever you like. You all need to grow up. Propaganda is part of the government. Someone commented that the reason why he's not be watching my video is because of propaganda. But I posted a video on Saturday, a very important video of fundraising, because I didn't give it a propagandous headline. That video since Saturday till today, where me and you they never even get up to 100 views. But when I give a propagandous headline, then it will come to blame me. But the one they give real headline, do you watch it? Every video I've been given a caption to get you closer to watch it and share it. There's no any video or whatsoever you watch, as long as the Biafran struggle is concerning, that is a waste. But my people, no, they must attack you. But they will go to other ones who are busy dancing naked. They will even applaud them. But things that is going to be very, very, the vital things that we are supposed to be considering in this our Biafra movement, when you do it, you have become an escape. In fact, you have become the worst person. They will unsubscribe from you. They will not watch your content. All manner of comments keep coming left, right, and center. Watch the video. We are coming back again with another video to explain what I think and what you think about the video you just finished or you are going to watch. So have a nice day. May good Lord continue to bless us. Please, I'm sorry I have taken much of your time. If you don't want to watch what I said, please fast forward it and go front and watch the original video that I brought to you. So have a nice day. May good Lord continue to bless us all, Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Regard day. Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more interesting videos.
Sylvester Onyia, President of American Military Veterans of Igbo Descent, Harvard. I'm here today with Rising Sons and ambassadors for self-determination. We're in the state capital to bring our concerns to the American folks that Nnamdi Kanu need to be released now. A lot of people have talked about him being unjustly incarcerated for nothing. He is not the problem of Nigeria. If anything, he is the solution to solve Nigerian problems. We're asking President Tinubu, just like we asked President Buhari, that got him in the first place, to release him. They have not done anything to anybody. On this note, we are reminding the world about what happened in January 2017, when inauguration of Donald Trump was celebrated in Port Harcourt, and the Nigerian government shot down and killed over 27 young youths of Igbo descent, IPOB young stars, for doing nothing but cheering up the president of their choice. This happened and nobody have been brought to account for that. We are asking that the government of the United States under Donald Trump, president, to look into that massacre, because it was democracy that was being celebrated, and those youths were happy, rejoicing that such a good thing happened, and the military went and killed them all like chickens. We continue to ask, what is it that you're holding Nnamdi Kanu for? And we believe, as a British citizen, the British government's hand is in it, because Nnamdi was discussing about the atrocities they're doing in Nigeria. They don't want any development in Nigeria. Everything that we are doing is what Nnamdi was preaching on, and everything he have said before have happened today, and it's still happening. The jihadis coming in to work for the British government and to be killing people, the Fulani herdsmen, the terrorists, and that's what they are, killing people, trying to displace indigenous people, trying to take their lands from them, land grabbing. We want the world to look into it, more especially the United States government. For one thing, if nothing is done, once these jihadis get hold of the southeast, the Christians that they're trying to exterminate, they will have hold of the sweet cool. And once that happens, the next thing will be to challenge the United States and even the Britain that is encouraging them to do their bad deeds.
So, Father, I've heard that a Nigerian government official, the Inspector General of the DSS, Department of State Services, has said, Nigerians, defend yourselves from the terrorists and the bandits, end quote. So, Father, as a minister of God, do you support self-defense, especially where it may lead to the killing of your assailant?
Thank you very much, sir, for the question. And if you don't mind, let me begin by thanking you and your colleagues who have been working with us tirelessly to bring to the awareness of the world the level of injustice that is going on in Nigeria. It's getting too much. And at some point, somebody somewhere has to stand up and say, enough is enough. Now, coming to your question, yes, the Director General of DSS, who in American context, we might equate to the Director of Homeland Security, is a special government official in Nigeria who is privy to top secret intelligence actually. For him to step forward and publicly told Nigerians, arm and defend yourselves, tells me a couple of things. One, Nigeria is either becoming a failed state or is already a failed state. Why? Because he said that they don't have enough government manpower to defend you. The military, the police, the DSS, that they don't have enough power to defend their citizens. What is the primary responsibility of any government, democratic government? To defend the lives and property of the people. So, for the director of DSS to say, we don't have what it takes to protect you Nigerians, it means that they are incapacitated. Self-defense is a natural phenomenon. If I were to pinch you now, you will blink unconsciously in defense of yourself. So self-defense is a natural phenomenon. But in the context of the DSS, honestly, I wasn't expecting that we shall come to that level at which the common people are required to arm themselves and defend themselves. But guess what? It has happened. In other words, what it means is you're on your own. If anything happens to you, you have yourself to blame. Now, because self-defense is a natural phenomenon, I have never read about any law, moral law, Christian law, civil law, natural law that is against self-defense. None whatsoever. But you know what? Where you have a good government, you take it for granted that you are protected. And so it's not even a question of whether I support it or not, or whether it is legal or not. And then for the government to say, defend yourself. Now, we are taking self-defense to a higher level. The level of you have to do everything possible to protect your life. Your life is the most precious gift God has given you. Very, very precious. God has given us a precious life to take care of, and we should guard it judiciously. But what is happening in Nigeria is that a group of bandits, terrorists, have taken it upon themselves to be massacring people at will. They carry arms all over the place, unchecked, unhindered. And they are decimating ethnic groups. In the name of herders, farmers, clash, rubbish. If there is more to it, there is a hidden agenda. And that is ethnic cleansing and religious persecution. That is what has been going on. At this point in time, I will actually go the extra mile to advocate for self-defense. And people should defend themselves. And I'm asking my people, you cannot waste the life, precious life God has given you. You must defend it. Because there's no way. It has come to that. If the government tells you to defend yourself, defend yourself. That's what I will tell my people. And then I will ask our brothers and sisters in diaspora, especially here in America, who are from Igbo descent. Igbos here in America and Europe, organize yourselves, raise money, and make sure that your respective communities at home are protected. Have a very working vigilante groups, and make sure that your communities are protected. The time to pretend that everything is okay back home in Nigeria is gone and may never come back until that country disintegrates. Because honestly, a failed state, the only solution to a failed state is disintegration. To your tents, O Israel. Everybody should go and take care of themselves. From the local communities, maybe to the regional level. And guess what? This is exactly what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been preaching for more than 10 to 15 years. That these people are coming. These are mercenaries sponsored by the Fulani hegemony to decimate the rest of the ethnic groups in Nigeria. And the government has done little or nothing to stop them. And to our greatest embarrassment, or even being fair to them, they have now told us officially that there's not much they can do.
So, Bruce Fine, as a constitutional lawyer and the International Council for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and you visited Nigeria many times. Your client has served over 5 years in prison. What is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's current situation, and how has the current state of the Nigerian Constitution and the rule of law affected Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's freedom?
Well, thank you for that wonderful question. We're really gathered here today to pay homage to Nnamdi Kanu and his unsurpassed courage that has given the Biafrans hope, which is what sustains a people and moving forward towards justice. Nnamdi Kanu was victim of a crime. Crime perpetrator was the nation of Nigeria. In 2021, he was kidnapped and tortured in Kenya. He was then returned to Nigeria, where he's been denied a trial for now over 4 years. I helped precipitate a ruling from the working group on arbitrary detention in Geneva, holding very unambiguously and calling for the immediate and unconditional of Nnamdi Kanu because the government of Nigeria had violated 16 human rights covenants that were binding on all nations, whether they accepted them or not. The Nigerian government has flouted that decree now for almost 3 years. Nnamdi Kanu remains in isolation. Again, he's never ever been given an opportunity for a trial. There are repeated adjournments because there is no evidence. I've examined the indictments. They're really quite hollow. They don't have any specificity of what Nnamdi Kanu did that caused any kind of violence or harm. And at present, there still is no scheduled trial date. It's a continuing criminal violation by the Nigerian government. The great irony is that the real case should be Nnamdi Kanu versus the government of Nigeria, which should be in the defendant's chair. One of the things that's very astonishing is that for hundreds of years of Anglo-American jurisprudence, there's a motto: crime should not pay. The Nigerian government is trying to make their crime against Nnamdi Kanu pay, which is intolerable.
Bruce, what can be done to the government of Nigeria to help free Mazi Kanu?
Well, there are several precedents. One, during apartheid, South Africa was suspended from the United Nations General Assembly until Nelson Mandela was released. And there's nothing that prevents petitions now to the United Nations General Assembly insisting that Nigeria be suspended until they release Nnamdi Kanu. That's one possibility. Another would be if you had the president issue an executive order says there are going to be no Nigerian visas to visit the U.S. until Nnamdi Kanu is released. That would impress upon all Nigerians the penalty they're paying because the government is being so lawless and tyrannical. There are other options like having an international arms embargo on Nigeria until Nnamdi Kanu is released, having very, very high tariffs on anything sold by Nigeria until Nnamdi Kanu is released. These are financial pressures. They've been utilized in other countries in the past. It's a matter of political will, not law.
Chief Ugonna, how do the attacks on the Christian community and the continued injustice faced by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu serve as a serious warning sign for all Nigerians about the state of justice and freedom in the country?
You know, that's an excellent question, and thank you for posing that. I want to tell you a short story. I've been going to the region for 20 years, and the first 10 years that I was there, it was quite peaceful, at least in the southeast. Some of this was brewing already in the north, but in the southeast and the spaces where I was at with the Igbo, quite frankly, was fairly peaceful. And then, right around the time actually when they put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu under chains, things blew up. And more than that, I think when people in the villages and the boroughs of Southeast Nigeria look at this, they see, wow, if they can do that to somebody like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is quite quite an individual. What could they do to me? What can they do to the individual citizens? It's just gone wrong. I'm telling you, and I've told the State Department here before, not from this current administration, but the previous one, that if in fact, if we don't do something about this, that place is going to implode, and we're going to end up with a pile of people coming over who will immigrate just to get out of the place. That's what's going to happen. I think the other thing that lines up where the people, the situations that they're living in, many of them are Christians. We've said before, 90% plus are Christian. Those who are Christian are experiencing the same kind of attack. There's a group in Southeast Nigeria called Inner Society, and they're a data crunching kind of group. And they've also got a very nice legal angle where they triangulate on everything to make sure that what they print is real. And they printed a statistic where they said just recently that for a period of 9 years, there were more than 30,000, mostly Christians, either killed or extremely violated. And even since they printed that, another 9,000 have been added to the list. So you're talking about 40,000 people. When we had our 9/11 here in the U.S., it wasn't anywhere near 40,000. And look at the reaction we had. 40,000 people being killed or violated should draw an unbelievable personal explosion. I think one of the things that people need to do, citizens, whoever is a citizen in Nigeria listening to this broadcast, need to really think this way. I used to work for a guy who said, you know what, now that we've had all this discussion, that's all wonderful, but tomorrow morning when you wake up, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And the point is, you need to be able to answer that question. And for me, it comes down to three things. The first is you need to understand what's going on. What's going on in your village? Who are those strangers out in the bush? Who are they? What are they doing? You need to understand what's happening to you. You can't wait for somebody to tell you. Nobody's going to tell you. When DSS has already said, you know what? You better take care of yourself. Actually, I don't know if they really want to give us any good advice, but that's good advice. We need to take care of us. You need to get up and understand what's going on. The second thing you need to do is you need to have a plan. You need to start to think about, what am I going to do tomorrow morning? What's the plan? I need a plan. And the third thing you need to do is take it personal. Now, you might say, what's this white chief? How many white chiefs do you see with a red hat? Not too many. What's he doing? I want to tell you what I'm doing, okay? What's important to me? When it comes to understanding what's going on, we are all about, I spent 20 years understanding what's going on. And some people even pin the label on me, not Big A, but Big I for Igbo. They said, boy, he knows a lot about the Igbo, that guy. Because I've spent 365 days on ground. And in so doing, I learned what's really critical to the Igbo, to the ethnicity, to the ancestral Igbo. What's important to that person? Why are they the way they are? So I did that. I started to understand by working with the people around, standing here and many others. I've learned all the ins and outs of what's driving, what's the history. What did the British do? How did they fumble the ball so badly when they set this place up? How did that happen? And so I've learned about that. So I know what's going on. The second thing is I've got a plan. One thing I learned from my dad, and God rest his soul, my dad was a Marine Corps staff sergeant. And so you can imagine, as a young boy, I was on the run. My dad, he said, son, you're either going to be part of the problem or you're going to be part of the solution. And you know what? I've chosen I think wisely, to be part of the solution. Part of the solution is critical. And you know what? You as citizens need to be part of the solution. And you need to come up with it yourself. You know what? Just like DSS, they're not going to tell us what to do. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. You need to figure it out for yourself and then do it. And then the third thing is take it personal. Now, what have I been doing? You can tell just by the way I am. I take things personal. And when I come to this place behind me, and I spend a lot of time at the State Department as well, and as a group with Avid, Avid's a great organization. Avid, with that group, we've spent a lot of time in the halls of Congress, knocking on the doors, talking with people. When we're with those people, what we're doing is we're taking them through the same 3 steps. United States government, you actually don't understand what's going on in Africa. Listen to us. We'll tell you what's going on. It's an ancestral place. And what happens is when they abscond with somebody who's iconic in the society. I mean, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is iconic. When they put somebody like that in chains and just throw away the key, which they've done, they've thrown away the key. We should be taking that personal. And once again, if they can do what they're doing with him, they're doing with us, and that's when the 40,000 Christians that they've got on the run. There's another little bit of data you ought to know about. You know, all the people, and I bet there's hardly anybody in the region who hasn't been personally touched by a disappearance. You've got family, friends, fellow villagers who've been absconded with, they've been stolen. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You know what's going on. Well, what happens is we need to tell the people in these powerful places, because they have a lot of control. I think you've heard quite a bit of wisdom about what the U.S. government can do. But for sure, the U.S. government needs to understand that if these 3 questions don't get answered, also by the United States, understand, have a plan, and take it personal, one day it will come to our shore. One day that place will just turn into a mess. And we need to make sure that it doesn't come to our shore.
Evans, a lot has been said about what is wrong in Nigeria, especially the illegal detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What are your thoughts?
Well, I can tell you that we've heard an earful about the evil and atrocities going on in Nigeria. But one thing about evil is that it's really perpetrated by a few, because there are all good people everywhere. There's good people in the north, there's good people in the south, but few bad apples that happens to galvanize the masses to commit evil against their own citizens. I'm telling you that evil may live for a while or may even live for a long time, but evil will never live forever, because every evil has an expiration date. It always does. So I'm telling you that the time of massacre of Christians in the north and south has expired. Right?
Expired.
Right.
Expired.
The genocide against the Igbos has also expired. And the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Mandela of our era, the Mandela of Nigeria, his incarceration has now expired. You've heard me describe Nigeria as a dark nation. And the only thing that can overtake darkness is light. So I'm asking the Congress of the United States to be the light and enact the laws that will stop what's going on in Nigeria. Beginning with designating the nation as a country of particular concern. I'm also asking those in diaspora, like myself, to wake up and do something to help your citizens back home. We can always do something individually, but we can do much more collectively. This is a cause that I'm willing to die for. And I will continue to fight until my last breath.
Tell me about the Nigerian government. Have they adequately protected human rights and enforced their laws regarding the protection of lives and property of her Igbo and Christian citizens?
The question of human rights in Nigeria ought to go directly to a few people that I will mention.
Yeah.
They will talk about that. I'm talking about the person of a young lady called Leah Sharif,
Okay.
that was kidnapped by Boko Haram when she was 15 years old. 15 years old, she was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Until this day, she remains in the custody of the terrorists.
Yes.
She cried out to her government, and they did nothing. No rescue, no help. And I want to surprise you. This young woman today is 25 years old. 25 years old, having children for terrorists, while the federal government of Nigeria ignores her cry
Yes.
for help and assistance.
Yeah.
So you ask Leah Sharif about the fundamental human rights in Nigeria,
Yes.
and she will tell you the rest of the story. Another person that is worthy of note is another young lady by the name Deborah Samuel, a young college student in Shangari College of Education, Sokoto, Nigeria. This young woman was stoned to death in broad daylight while people stood and watched, while the government stood and watched. The army and the police, all the security apparatus, they stood and watched an innocent girl mowed down in broad daylight, and her body was set ablaze. Chances are this young woman was still alive while she was in flames. Things that you cannot bear as a father, as a brother. These things are happening in this country called Nigeria. And people expect us to be proud of the country. That's why we are here to talk to lawmakers over here, those that will listen, and I'm glad that they're paying attention.
What do you
They're
wish,
taking note.
What do you wish that the lawmakers would do first?
First of all, back during the days of the Trump administration, Nigeria was in the list of CPC country of particular concern.
Yes.
Then the new administration came in under Joe Biden, and they were taken off. Now, both houses of Congress, the House of Senate, the House of Rep, they're coming together to put Nigeria back as a CPC country that needs to be watched.
Yep.
Country that violates fundamental human rights.
Yes.
Country that may be sanctioned
Yep.
until they change their ways.
So, for the folks who are hearing this for the first time, what would you hope that they could do?
What I hope that they can do is to take the message to their respective constituents, to talk to their lawmakers, their reps, their senators, their House of Representatives. Tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
Tell them what's happening to other people on the other side. So maybe at least they can learn some voice when they're in session here at Congress. That's why we come here.
Yes.
This country holds the record for beacon of democracy in the world. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
One more thing, and the legendary of human rights violation, okay, ought to be referred to a man in the person of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's continuous incarceration is the primary reason why we're here. We are here to call for his immediate and unconditional release, as already decided by United Nations back in 2022. For people that do not know Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today he's being referred to as a secessionist. He wants to divide Nigeria. But I want to let you know one thing, how this young man started this whole thing. He did not start this whole thing by calling for Biafra or calling to be separated from the nation. He started in the year of 2012 and 2013 in London, on the streets of London, calling for one Nigeria, for unity, for the government to pay attention to the suffering of the people. The children are suffering. There's no job, unemployment everywhere. Our young people has taken up to criminality. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saw this and he began to preach, to talk about it. He wasn't calling about secession. He wasn't calling for Biafra. He was just a devoted citizen of the country. Well, seeing that fell a deaf ear, so he began to call for a referendum. What is a referendum? An opportunity for men and women, citizens of a particular country, to come together lawfully and decide their self-determination, decide who to govern them, to elect government over them. It's called government by the consent of the governed. There's nothing wrong with that. And for that, this young man was arrested in 2015 and put in prison. And 2 years down the road, he was granted bail and was allowed to go home. While he was enjoying his bail, preparing to come to court, consistent with the bail conditions, he was invaded by the same government that granted him bail. A combined forces of the military, the Air Force, Navy, all of them invaded his home on a planned assassination attempt. They called it the legendary Python dance. Python should be dancing in the forest, not in a village where there were women, children, and elderly. That's where the Nigerian military came to operate their Python dance. But at the end of the day, when the Python has finished dancing, scores of human beings were left dead. Properties were destroyed. Where's the justice? Where's the government? Where's the right of the people to be protected? And miraculously, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu escaped that very assassination attempt. And in 2021, June of 2021, they tracked him down and kidnapped him while he was on official duty in Kenya. As far as we are concerned, there is no democracy in Nigeria.
One key piece I want to mention with people and citizens is that it's the subject of fear. See, when you don't make a plan, when you don't understand what's going on, and you don't take it personal, all of that gets replaced by fear. See, what happens when fear takes over, all the bad operators around you become temporarily successful. And that's evidenced largely by the growth of IDP camps in the country. You know, the internally displaced person camps are now over 1 million. In fact, there's an organization, they publish a thing called an IDP Atlas. And in the Atlas, they quote that 1.34 million people are now in camps. And on top of that, there's another statistic that they keep where they call displaced person movement. And those are people who are about to be in IDP camps. They've been chased out of their environments, out of their homes, and there are about 3.3 million of those. So when you add all this together, it's 4 or 5 million people who either are or are about to be in an internally displaced person camp. They're like prison camps. There are pictures all over the internet. Look in the internet. Look up IDP Nigeria, and you'll see pictures all over the place. You know, there's another area, maybe I could ask Chief Anya to speak about it, about the nature of security, and it's like a message that we want to send.
Yes, thank you. There's no society that can survive on anything without security. Building all those roads, building new malls, and all those things the governors in the Southeast claim they are doing is not helping anybody because nobody is secure. So they have to think about security first. Save the lives of our people first, and they can build those monuments. They could build those malls. Those things will come second. So the most important thing they would do is security. Make sure that there are bushes, nobody is living there, no Fulanis are there, no jihadis are there. Form the strong vigilante that you can have, not the vigilante that you use for your own personal gain when you run for elections. Form the one that can protect the people and guide them. By the way, the IDP camps we're talking about, who displaced who? Why would people be displaced? So security is important, that the governors of the Southeast should come together to do that. This is exactly what Nnamdi Kanu was telling them.
Evans, a lot has been said about what is wrong in Nigeria, especially the illegal detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I can tell you that we've heard an earful about the evil and atrocities going on in Nigeria. But one thing about evil is that it's really perpetrated by a few, because there are good people everywhere. There's good people in the north, there's good people in the south, but few bad apples that happens to galvanize the masses to commit evil against their own citizens. I'm telling you that evil may live for a while or may even live for a long time, but evil will never live forever, because every evil has an expiration date. It always does. So I'm telling you that the time of massacre of Christians in the north and south has expired. Right?
Expired.
The genocide against the Igbos has also expired. And the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Mandela of our era, the Mandela of Nigeria, his incarceration has now expired. You've heard me describe Nigeria as a dark nation. And the only thing that can overtake darkness is light. So I'm asking the Congress of the United States to be the light and enact the laws that will stop what's going on in Nigeria. Beginning with designating the nation as a country of particular concern. I'm also asking those in diaspora, like myself, to wake up and do something to help your citizens back home. We can always do something individually, but we can do much more collectively. This is a cause that I'm willing to die for. And I will continue to fight until my last breath.